furrow. Yeah. And with my 18-year-old son, who doesn't want to be on the screen, but he will say something. Hello. This is new. I've not seen this before, have you? And we're walking to the bookshop because the poor boy needs more study books. Very sad. Hello, it's been quite a long time since I made a podcast. The last time I made one was before I was going to Tokyo, which was, when was it now? The end of November. And I thought I'd be able to get back and do some Christmas like Vlogmas, but there's just no chance. My work at Christmas is so busy, and in fact I'm skiving off real work today to get this done. This is in my craft room. For the first time I've got a Christmas tree, because this is the original Christmas tree that my husband and I bought, oh, must be 25 years ago. When we got married, we decided we'd have a tree, and it got really old, and every time you put it up it sheds needles. I was just checking, my coffee is underneath, and I thought, because I'm touching it, I bet it was dropping needles into my coffee, but it wasn't. Real coffee today. I'm very tired. One of the sad things about living in Japan is our friends tend to come and go. So they, some friends of ours gave us their Christmas tree, which was better than this one, and it's the one that we've got downstairs. But yesterday, when I put this one up here, I realised that the old one is now in better nick than the new one. So I think really both of them have seen better days, and I'd like to get one with more lights. These lights are new, but there's only a few of them and they don't, I don't know, it's a bit pathetic. So I'd like to have a better tree with more lights and all the nice ornaments on it, and just get rid of all the space filler ones we've got. I decided I was going to put a lot of special ornaments on this one. These are things I've been given, things that I've made, like this one. I'll do a little Christmas tree tour later, and things that other people have made for me. So this is my tree with meaning for me. And Lorelle of the Dabbling Hook, she suggested that, well, she did a Christmas questions tag. So I printed the questions. Sorry, my asthma's bad, so I'm coughing still. Yeah, so she decided to tag me, basically because everybody else had been tagged. So I've been thinking about the questions that she asked, and I'm going to attempt to answer them. But first, I realise I've done it again. I haven't introduced myself. So my name is Vicky. I'm from Iceflower Crochet on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm Iceflower Vicky on Ravelry. So please go and have a look at my pages if you are interested. And I'm wearing a hand knit today. This is the hitchhiker's scarf. You can see all the zigzags. And it was made for me by my English friend Fran, and she gave it to me last year. And this winter has suddenly switched on and it's very cold. It was -17 yesterday evening, and we still haven't got a lot of snow. So once the snow falls deeply, and it's piled up on the roof and it's piled up against the house inside gets a lot warmer. But at the moment there's only a few inches of snow outside, and our foundations are very high. They're about 70 centimetres up from the ground surface, and until that gets covered, there's air grates, and the cold wind just whistles through, and it doesn't matter how much insulation you've got under the floor. It's freezing. So, but it's not that cold. I'm complaining. We've got a heating on, but the heating's cranked up higher than it needs to be. Once the snow falls, we can put the heating down and it will be cheaper. So hurry up and fall. It's very, very late this year. So on with the tag questions. When do you start decorating for Christmas was the first one. In our family in Japan, we've had to make our own traditions because Christmas isn't obviously something that Japanese people traditionally do. It's a modern thing, and they've taken it and given it their own twist, which to my mind isn't Christmas. Obviously to my husband's mind it is, so we've sort of compromised. So in Christmas, Christmas basically happens on Christmas Eve, and at lunchtime on Christmas Day all the decorations are taken down and that's it, Christmas is finished. But it starts quite early, mid-November maybe. I don't like that. My family in England used to decorate second or third week in December, and then it would go on till 12th night on the 6th of January. So we've split the difference, and we usually decorate the first weekend in December, but this year we didn't. Like that weekend was very busy, and it went to the next weekend. And did it? Midweek. We did it midweek because my husband had a day off and my son came home early from school. And we usually keep it up to about the 3rd of January, and then but the Japanese relatives get very antsy. They don't like seeing Christmas decorations anywhere around New Year, so they think that we're very weird or lazy. They think we're very lazy because we don't put it away. What style do you decorate in? A mishmash. I don't like themed trees. I think they're false and plasticky, not real somehow. I like things that we've been given, things that we've bought. Obviously at the beginning we had quite a lot of fillery things, but lots of friends have made things, we've been given things, our kids made things. This plastic bell up here has got my 3-year-old son and his kindergarten teacher in it. This one here, I don't know if you can see, this is a very beautiful glass ornament given to me by a good friend. So slowly as the years go by, the ornaments have more and more meaning. And like this one, oh, I've got to take it off, it doesn't show. This one was made by me and my elder son when he was about, I don't know, 3, 2.5, 3. And it's just sticky back plastic and paper and glitter. There was glitter all over the house for weeks after we did that. But he actually remembers making these. So they're really naff. The plastic is yellowing and cracking. He's 22 now, but it doesn't matter. They're very special to me. What's your favourite Christmas tradition with family? Well, I would say decorating the tree, but this year was a bit of a washout. First of all, the first weekend in December we were really busy, and there was just no chance. My husband worked the whole weekend. My son had his final exams of school, high school, on the Saturday and the Sunday, so that was that. It was a total washout, and he did agree to do it on Sunday afternoon, but he came home and he just slept like somebody had hit him, so that was the end of that. So I think it was about the next Thursday or Friday when my husband had a day off, and my son said that he was very tired and could he come home from school early please, and he came home at about 8 o'clock in the evening. Not early in my mind, but anyway, that's the system here. And so I'd got all the boxes out and I'd got the tree down, and basically they sat and they watched me. And my son hung perhaps 3 things, and my husband hung maybe 3 things, and helped me with the lights a bit, but not much. And that was that this year, so I was a bit bummed, to be honest. But that's the first time it's ever been that bad. Usually they're more enthusiastic than that. But everybody's so tired at the moment. My son is doing university entrance exams any minute now. The exams are in January and February, and he has no time to think of anything else. And my husband works shifts, so he doesn't get weekends off necessarily. In fact, he very rarely gets weekends off. Favourite place to buy Christmas decor? In Japan? Nowhere. Last Christmas we went home to England, and I was really looking forward to looking at shops and craft fairs, Christmas markets, garden centres. I was going to get lots of things, but we all got flu, all 6 of us, me, my husband, my two boys, my mother, my father, and then my uncle as well, who I suspect got it from us. We went to visit before we knew we were sick. So the Christmas visit was an absolute washout. We had about, what did we have? 5 days after we got there, before we all got sick. We started getting sick just after Christmas. I think it was Boxing Day or the next day, and then we all went down like 9 pins, one after another, and then it took until well, I left on January the 11th, and I was very tired and wobbly still, but I was better. I wasn't a carrier by then, so it was safe to go back on the plane. But yeah, it was a nightmare. So yeah, if you don't, I don't know, there's not a lot of very nice Christmas decorations, and in our area, the last 2 or 3 years, even the nice shops have had really terrible stuff. I don't know where all the nice stuff has gone, but there is in Sapporo a German Christmas market every year, and they have people come from all over the world. It says it's a German Christmas market, but my favourite 2 shops are a Lithuanian one and a Russian one, but there are German decorations as well, and Finnish. Oh, there's all kinds. Every year there are different people, but the Lithuanian one is pottery houses, and I have a collection of those that I keep on my kitchen window ledge year round, and I just try not to choose particularly snowy ones. They're pottery. And the Russian one is wooden ornaments. So I do buy things there occasionally, but they're very expensive, but they're really nice. Favourite Christmas movie? Nothing really. It wasn't a tradition. I grew up with very little television. I was born and brought up in Germany, and until I was about 12, my parents didn't have a television. And then when they did, I don't know, it was German TV, so we did watch it, but I wasn't terribly interested in a lot of programmes, and my dad would watch the news and then we'd go to bed really. And then when we moved to England, I think Christmas movies, I don't know, are they a very big Christmas tradition in England? Not in the 70s and 80s when I was young. And then I went away to school, to high school, to secondary school, and we didn't have a television there. And then I went to university, and in my hall of residence we had 1 television for 400 people. So I used to occasionally go in, but you couldn't see anything because it was a gigantic room and an ordinary family-sized television at one end of it. So and then I came to Japan, and again I didn't have a television again for a long time, and now we do have a TV, but I don't really like Japanese programs very much, and I watch Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and stuff like that. I don't really watch television, so I'm just starting in the last 4 or 5 years really to understand what Christmas movies are and start watching them. So I've got a lot to catch up on. If you have any recommendations, let me know. What's the next one? Eggnog, hot cocoa or apple cider? Well, in my book, apple cider is an alcoholic drink that you have in the summer, because I'm English, so that's very nice, but it's not Christmassy. Eggnog is foul. I've only ever had it once. It's an American thing. And yeah, I don't know, the woman who made it didn't sieve it, so it was like, had omelette-y bits in it. It was a bit weird. So yeah, of those 3, I'd say cocoa. Do you leave out cookies for Santa? If so, what kind? Yes, we leave cookies out, usually ginger cookies, ginger biscuits, and a carrot for the reindeer, and a glass of whiskey. Don't have milk in this house. That was my mum and dad's tradition, and I'm only recently wondering if it was not actually a Britain-wide thing to put out whiskey, or whether it was my mum and dad. So that'd be quite interesting to ask them. Real or artificial tree? Artificial, but it sheds needles like a real one. Favourite holiday dessert? Proper English Christmas cake, I think. The good black sticky one with lots of raisins and dried fruit and cherries and peel and spices and thick white icing. Our family are allergic to nuts though, so we don't put the marzipan on it. and there's a British woman in Japan who makes them for a select few every year, and I'm finally on her list. So we've been ordering one from her for the last 3 or 4 years, and they're absolutely fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that arriving soon. There's a niche for foreigners making things for other homesick foreigners of all different nationalities. There's once you get into the networks, there's quite a lot going on actually. It's quite exciting. Favourite Christmas cookie? Well, gingerbread. I think that's, to me, the essence of Christmas. Do you open gifts on Christmas Eve? No, not really. When the kids were little and didn't understand about the date, again, my husband quite often or never got Christmas Day off, and it's also not a day off for Japanese schools. If it happens that the term is ended by Christmas Day, then you get the day off, but it's not a public holiday and it's not expected that people will take time off. So when the kids were younger, my husband couldn't get the time off because he was young in his work and he wasn't given any choice of dates to take off. So we would often have Christmas on the 23rd, which is the Emperor's birthday, and it is a public holiday. Just wish the Emperor's mother could have held on 2 more days. So we often used to do it on the 23rd. When the kids were older, my husband was slightly more senior, and he was more aware of how important Christmas as a whole was to me, and we would give the kids the day off, and he would take the day off if he could. If he couldn't, then yeah, we would probably open presents on Christmas Eve. This year, now he's in a new job, and although I said he works shifts, he can book his own regular days off in the month. So he's chosen Christmas Day off as one of his December days. So he's having Christmas Day, and my son will have Christmas Day, my younger one. I'm not sure if he's not got, oh, he might have school, I don't know. There isn't a day when they don't have school, so but I will probably give him the day off, or at least the morning. And my older son is coming back from university, so he's got the day off. So we'll open presents on Christmas Day this year. Do you decorate your Christmas tree yourself? Yeah, this year all of it, bar about 4 ornaments. But that's okay. I don't mind anymore. They want Christmas. The whole family want Christmas. They like the traditions we've made, but they're too busy, too tired, and can't be bothered to do it themselves. I don't think that's necessarily Japanese culture in the way, is it? That's just male apathy. That's a bit mean. Where do you spend Christmas Day? Always at home. We never go out, because as soon as you go out, Christmas Day is over. As I said earlier, Christmas Day finishes at lunchtime on Christmas Day, the whole of Christmas season. So if you go out, the decorations are gone, New Year's stuff is up in force. It's just a regular work day, and it's highly depressing. So I make a Christmas bubble and we stay in it and we don't go out. Favourite Christmas smell is pine trees. So when I went to Tokyo a couple of weeks ago, I went to IKEA, and they had just had their first deliveries of cut Christmas trees, and they were outside, and oh, the smell was gorgeous. I kept walking up and down and inhaling. It was so good. But I was thinking, if you got a tree at the end of November, it wouldn't last very long, would it? It would be dead by Christmas. What is your favourite thing to craft or make during the holidays? Well, I do like making Christmas decorations, and I've tried to do something different every year. So I've been making Christmas baubles for a few years. I'm trying to find one. This was one of my first efforts, and it's Aran yarn, and it's actually a bit baggy. I didn't make it tight enough, so it doesn't sit nicely. And the inner ball is actually a capsule from a game centre that one of my sons brought home. So that was sort of like an experiment. It's flat on the bottom, but it was fun. I've done lace ornaments like this one. I've done stockings. I think I'll have to take my camera off the tripod and give you a tour. So I'll do that, I think. So that's the tag finished. I don't really know who to tag, so if anybody watches this and hasn't done it, feel free to consider yourself tagged. It would be fun to hear. But then put a note back on, send me a message or write something, comment on my page so that I know, because people are making comments on their own vlogs about things that I've done, and I only find it by chance when somebody mentions it, or I happen to find it by chance. So I'd like to know if you said anything, and then I can go and watch, please. And before I do the Christmas tree tour, incoming goodies, I've got a few things. What have I got? Oh, they're down here. So from Sorabento, this is just a badge I put on. It doesn't go. Well, I'm going to take it off. Sorabento bag that I showed you last time, that was shallow and bento shaped. Still nice for single sock projects and things. She's been thinking about doing a craft bag bucket, and so she made this one for me. I asked for this fabric because I saw it in a photograph on her page and I thought it was delightful. It's linen, I think, and inside is polka dots, and she's put lots of pockets all the way around, smaller ones and bigger ones on one side, and then on the outside there's this pocket as well, 2 pockets, and it's got a drawstring and a very useful loop for hanging things on. I think I would have preferred that on the inside, but I'm not complaining. And then a small wrist strap. I would like a shoulder strap, and then I would take it out with me. But actually it's quite big, and I don't usually need to carry this much yarn around with me. You know, if I'm going out, I'll just have a 1 skein project that can go in a little bag. And I love that it opens flat and it sits open, so you can have it on the floor next to you, and it acts as a yarn bowl as well, keeps all your stuff together. So I love this, really, really pleased. So that's Sorabento, and she's going to start making them and putting them on her Etsy shop. So if you're interested, have a look. And this arrived a few weeks ago, but I put it away for Christmas. So this was made by my friend Dominique, and she has a Facebook page, and she does sell her embroideries, and I can't think of the Facebook name. It's just gone out of my head as I started to say it, so I'll look it up and I'll put it on the screen later. So it's all beautifully finished, look, with a felt backing, and this one is a snowflake, and I don't know, it's about 4 inches across maybe. It is in the centre. The way I'm holding it is making it look off centre, but it isn't. And it's just French knots and stem stitches, and it's beautiful. So it's too big for the Christmas tree, I think. So I'll have to decide where to hang that. Probably downstairs. Very pleased with that. She does some beautiful letter embroideries. So you choose which letters you want, and then they're absolutely full of flowers and leaves and vines, and they're all very exotic and textured and beautiful, and I lust after one of those. So I'm perhaps later in the new year, when I've recovered financially a bit from life, I might order one of those. Just thinking about the tag, Christmas flavours and things, I thought I'd show you. This isn't Christmas particularly, but it's only available in the winter season. These 2 flavours of chocolate. So this one's rummy, so this one's rum raisin flavoured, and this one's called Bacchus, and it's got cognac in them. They're like liqueur chocolates, but they're quite cheap. They're about 200 yen, 198 yen a package, which is a couple of dollars, a bit more than £1, £1.50 maybe, not quite sure, can't work it out offhand, not much. They're only available, this says that it's only available in the winter. So when the Bacchus and Rummy start coming out in the shops, then you know it's really winter. And last year they did an apple brandy version, which seems to have gone this year, and in its place this is a super special limited edition for this year, and it's strawberry liqueur, and my husband and I tried that last night and it was quite nice. So it's so sad, isn't it? I had to go shopping and buy 3 packs to show you, and now I suppose we've got to eat them. So sad. So that's a bit of Christmassy to me flavour, but that goes on until February, March maybe. When it gets to February they start going on sale and I buy a lot to keep them in hand. You can't buy them in the summer. And I don't have a lot of finished objects to show you because my Christmas fair that I did on Facebook went really well. So I had, what did I have? I had hats, scarves, Christmas ornaments. I had the jute hearts and stars. I had you know, like bauble ornaments, nicer than that. And I had mice, Christmas mice, and I think that was it. All my scarves went, a couple of hats went, all the baubles went, all the, oh, Christmas puddings I had as well. All the Christmas puddings were sold, and the mice went into minus numbers. I had to keep making them. So the last couple of weeks I've just been madly making mice. I must have made 20 odd by now, and I've got one that I made extra to keep for me. So mice in Christmas jumpers. I showed you them before, but he's the last one, so I'm keeping him. Well, actually I need to make one for my mum, so I'll make one more or send him to England, not sure yet. And so after the orders were all done, I did think I should go back to my commissions, my blankets, and also the Kissing Circles one has been going on so long. I'm feeling so guilty about it. I'm determined to get that one finished. But last year at the end of the spring, at the end of the autumn, at the not autumn, winter, the end of winter, I threw away my hat. All my hats, because they were horrible. One of them was a knitted one, Fair Isle, and it had been cinched up, and the cinching had come undone, and it's all laddered, and it wasn't worth saving, so I threw that away. And I had another plain knit cap that was bobbly and fuzzy because it was several years old, so I decided I'd chuck everything away, and over the summer I'd make myself some new hats. Well, haha, you know how that went. So, and then winter was very late coming, so I just put my hood up and pulled my sleeves up like this. I didn't have any gloves either, and I put up with it. But then a couple of weeks ago, what, 10 days ago now, after I got back from Tokyo, winter, it always just switches on here. It's really weird, and it did the same. So like I said, yesterday morning it was -17. It's about -10 morning and evening now, and it was freezing, and a hood wasn't doing it, and I desperately needed a hat. So I skived off a bit more time, commission time, and I made myself a hat. And this is Glitz. Is that King Cole? The King Cole Glitz DK, and this one's in the Christmas colourway. You can tell it's in the Christmas colourway, can't you? And it's just a simple hat. I've got the Babay Faye hat gauges. They're really good. So you work a crown of any description, any yarn, any gauge, any design, and you work it till it fits the crown size, fits the gauge, and then you work it to the length that is on. The minimum length is the one that the gauge is, but if you want it longer, which I did, then you work it longer. So I wanted a big deep cuff, so that it covered my ears to, like, past my ears, you know, so that my ears were covered twice, because the top of your head doesn't get that cold, but your ears do, don't they? And you can, if there's a deep cuff, you can pull it down lower, and then if you don't want it so bad, you can like slouch it and, you know, not have a cuff or only a smaller one. So I was very pleased with this, but my teenage son took one look at it and said, "You're not going to wear that, are you?" So I said, "Yeah, I am." But he said, not if I go out with you, you're not. Well, I've ignored him because it's my mission in life to embarrass him. But I did obviously think it's not ideal for maybe smarter days. So I've had head over. It's also quite, even though it's DK, to me it feels bulky. I think it looks a bit bulky. So I've had Head Over Heels sock yarn in my bag, in my box, for ages. So I decided I'd try that. So that's a 4-ply sock yarn. And the Head Over Heels one is gorgeous. It shades, it stripes itself. So this is half double crochet in a spiral, and then a big deep rib, and it's front post, back post alternating, front post double, back post double in American terms. And I've got lots of very beautiful wooden buttons that a local man carves, and there's one with a ginkgo leaf, so I don't know why I decided a ginkgo leaf was good. So sort this one out. So this is my, and this is actually, because it's wool, the other one's acrylic, although it's thinner, it's actually warmer. And I sort of made a few adjustments. I made the hat part a bit longer before I started the rib. I didn't actually have any choice with this because my yarn ran out. So I like this one, and my coat is grey, so both go. So I haven't actually worn that one outside yet, but it feels very nice. I like that one. And then my husband saw the first one, and he thought it was funny. He doesn't mind me going out looking like a Christmas tree or Christmas bauble. But he said he doesn't have a hat. He's only got a black bought stocking cap that he wears at work, and his work is a bit dirty and horrible, so he doesn't want to wear it out on, you know, going out days. So he said, could he have one? And he said he'd like a red one, but dark red. When I looked in my red stash, I'd got this red, which I think is Claret. It's Stylecraft, and then this is the is it grey or graphite? I suspect it's graphite. It's quite dark, isn't it? And I only had 49 grams of each, and this one weighs about 85, so I knew that I wouldn't be able to get a hat out of it. And he also wanted the deep cuffs, because his idea was you could put little mini pocket hand warmers in, and then you'd have a warm ears if it was really, really cold. So he wanted a deep cuff as well. And he's got a huge head, so I made a spiral. I used the same gauge, but I actually ended up making it too big. He does have an enormous head, but this is ridiculous. And I did one spiral increase too many. But he wasn't here for me to try it on. And when you put it on, the rib pulls it in. You can see how big it is. But the rib pulls it in. So when it's on your head, you can't see that the crown part is too big. It all just evens out. But really, yeah, I could have stopped increasing one swirl before I did. So that's his, and again, you could slouch it, but he won't. And I did the same double back post and front post alternating for a rib. It really works well. It's really squishy and stretchy and thick when you do that. But I think, having made 3 hats for ourselves, I definitely prefer the finer yarn. I mean, it took a lot longer to make, but to my mind it feels nicer, and I don't know, I prefer the finer gauge ones. So, right, I'm going to stop the video here, finish my coffee, and then I'll give you a tree tour. So you can see here, the road is covered, and it is snowing a bit. I'm not sure if you can see that, but not deep enough. We need a good few feet before it's warm. So there's my Christmas tree. I'll just give you a quick view. There's my new craft room set up. Oh, and look, my IKEA buy. I finally got one of those lovely wagons. It's not set up properly yet, but and two very pathetic advent calendars which I keep forgetting I've got, so I haven't opened them. There's a sushi one and sights of regional Japan, but the numbers aren't right on this. There's 2 4s and no 8s, and it's pathetic. Right, anyway, so here's the tree. I swirled it round, sorry. So that's one of my this year ones. I decided to keep it. This stocking is knitted, so it was made for me by my friend Charmaine. I can't remember who gave me everything, it's embarrassing. This was a gift years ago. It's like flock and fairy. That's one I made, and that's another one I made. And when I went to IKEA this year, they had robins, felt robins, so I bought that one. That's my son when he was 3 years old and his teacher, and they made it as an old bottle look. That's an IKEA buy this year, glass, very nice. That's another one of this year's decorations that I made. This bird is beautiful. That was a glass bird given to me by my good friend Sachiko. And I bought these. There's 3. There's a reindeer and a snowman and a Santa, and they're Japanese fabric and made by handicapped people and then sold to get money for their events and things. So are just beautiful. I really like them. And my friend Erin made that. Popped it in one year with something that she sent me, and my brother sent my kids an angel each when they were very little, and I suspect my friend Sachiko gave me the star, but I can't remember. And oh, these my children chose when they were little. That was my elder boy chose that one. And this is a new one. This was a gift from Sandra at Lupine Road Designs, is she? I'll link it. And it's a resin in a metal case and shiny, glittery. So pretty. Love that one. I think that's my favourite one this year. That's a dragonfly sent to me by my friend Erin of Off on a Whim. And where are we? Let's go down. That's my mouse from this year. That's a wooden ornament that I picked up somewhere. It's very nice, painted. That's a crochet flower. I don't know when I made that. Well, perhaps when I first started crocheting. My mouse is not looking at me. Turning around. There's those mushrooms I got the other day at Nitori. That's another one from this year. That's another decoration I made with my elder son when he was about 2. Oh, these are funny. I got these at the 100 yen shop, which is the equivalent of the dollar store, but many, many years ago, and it was a set of 3. And I always think he looks like one of the astronauts on the moon rather than a snowman. But there was America and Japan and England. Where did England go? There. Don't know why England's a teddy bear and everyone else gets snowmen, but anyway. So I just thought they were very funny. This is another Lupine Road Christmas tree design, and oh, this is that beautiful egg that my friend gave me this year. This is last year's Off on a Whim tree ornament, and this year's is where? This year's is a moon. Where did I put it? I thought it was somewhere towards the front. I'll find it in a minute. These are flowers from my wedding bouquet, which was at Christmas time in England, and we packed up, my dad packed up my bouquet and sent it to my mother-in-law for safekeeping, and she threw it away. So that's the only stuff I've got left. They were silk flowers because we got married between Christmas and the New Year, so all the markets were closed. This is a cross-stitch nutcracker made by my friend Kathy. Look how much work has gone into that. Look at the detail. I adore that. That was another decoration that one of my kids chose. This one I love. It's like a big red drop of blood. That's from my friend Jen. She made it. Where is this year's Off on a Whim decoration? I only hung it up a few minutes ago. Why can't I see it? It's a moon. Where did I put it? I thought I put it in the middle somewhere. Oh dear. Well, there is another Off on a Whim moon, crescent moon with beautiful red stones in there somewhere. I promise there is. And that's tatting made by my godmother. She sent me a few years ago on those hippie bangles that people used to wear. But where is the moon? How odd, isn't it? I mean, I literally put it on half an hour ago and I can't see it. Oh well, just believe me. And I forgot to hang up these two. My silly Babay and Nara deer with no legs ornament. So they can go up as well. Where shall I put them? Where it looks like there's a gap. Here is a bit heavy. And where should I? Oh, is that too close? There, my camel. So that is my craft room tree. That little mushroom is one of the first ornaments we got, and it was imported from Germany. And we bought it in a shop in Asahikawa many years ago. So all of these ones here have some sort of story and meaning. There's no just junky ones. I'm very fond of this tree. So this is our downstairs tree, and you can see the actual tree is absolutely pathetic and it leans terribly, but well, it'll have to do for this year. This was supposed to be the better tree and it clearly isn't. So we were given these mice. Oh, it's dark, isn't it? I think I'll put the light on. Because we got married at Christmas, these mice were a wedding present, and we've always had them as tree toppers ever since. So they're special. And I got these mushrooms and acorns at Eiger this year. That was nice. I like those. And these icicles, I've got 3, and I bought those as a teenager. I was about 17 and I bought them in Penzance at a craft fair, a Christmas fair, and I've still got all of them unbroken. One there, believe me, and one here and one here, and they've survived many moves. And this is a little wooden Santa ornament that a friend gave me. These bells were given to me by my friend Andy when we were at college, so I was probably, oh I don't know, 19 or 20 when I got those. And there's 3, and I've got all of them, and they're still intact. These snowmen were given to us by a photographer. They've got my boys' photographs on when they were younger. Another IKEA robin. These beautiful proper glass balls, they're German, but I got them at a garden centre here that's now closed down. Hand painted ornament, a funny wood one, another one of my odd crochet they're like, I don't know what you call them in English, gacha balls, you know, when you buy something out of a machine, they're the capsules inside. These I bought in England and brought back with me, that you can open them up and put things in them. And yeah, this one's a bit sparse. Oh, and that bird is beautiful. Where is it? That was given to me by a good friend as well. My friend Sachiko knows that I like Christmas ornaments, and I don't know where she finds them. She always finds good ones. And in Costco a few years ago, there was this train tin, and it had caramels in it. So what we do now is we put a lot of the good ornaments in them to protect them, and we put them away, and then it just sits at the bottom of the tree. So that's it. That's our Christmas decorations so far. I don't think there'll be much else. We have a few pictures and things to put up, but I almost don't think we bother this year. So that's our tree.